भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्।
Hari Om, thank you, Vidya. Hari Om to all. So we are doing Mundakopanishad, which comes in mantra portion of Atharva Veda. So we'll cover till now what we have done, and then today we will do the two verses, next two verses. So first point, we learned about foundational text called as Prasthanatrayi, Gita, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra. Gita is Smruti Pradhan, Upanishad is Shruti Pradhan, Brahma Sutra is Nyaya Pradhan. Significance of the name of Mundaka we saw. Mundaka means head. Another meaning is shaven head. Shaven head means no attachment to the world, no desires, three vasanas, sadhana chatushtaya sampanna also we can symbolically say. We also saw Anubandha chatushtaya of this Upanishad, Vishaya, Prayojana, Sambandha, Adhikari. Now what is Vishaya, what is Prayojana, what is Sambandha, what is Adhikari, we must remember. If we are not remembering, then we have to go back to our notes. Because when we study Upanishad, as Swamiji mentions, we have to read earlier and then come to the next two verses so that we can see the sequence. Then we also saw Upanishad meaning, go near, sit down at the feet of a guru with surrender, seva, determination, dedication that I want to have this knowledge, and then do what? Listen, Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasanam. For what? Destroy self-ignorance. Because guru means one who destroys the ignorance. What is the core Upanishad knowledge of all Upanishads? My real nature is pure existence, pure consciousness, infinite bliss, and not body, mind, intellect. Then we saw four purposes of Shanti Mantra. What just now we heard Vidya chanting Om Bhadram Karnebi. Each Veda has its own Shanti Mantra. The purpose of the Shanti Mantra is prepare the mind. When we are listening to this high knowledge, the mind must be able to handle it. The intellect must be able to manage it. Like suddenly we go to a gym and then start lifting 100 kilos, 200 kilos. I must prepare myself for warm-up and then start the exercise. Second, invoke grace. Because without grace we cannot study, there will be obstacles. So the third is remove obstacles, whatever will come en route in my study, and let my study fructify it, let it give results. And then tune the body, mind, intellect to the teacher with mutual respect between both of them, mutual love and respect. Then the knowledge flows very easily. Then we saw what is mantra, mananat trayate, that which protects us. And we also saw the distinction between shloka, mantra, sukta, stotra. This was sent in the group. Then we saw Shanti mantra of Atharva Veda. We also saw who all we invoked: Indra Bhagwan, Surya Bhagwan, Garuda Bhagwan, Bruhaspati, and for what. Each one we are asking one thing. So we must be able to remember what we asked from Indra Bhagwan, what we asked from Bruhaspati. What is auspicious, listening and seeing along with its significance we saw, and the three Shantis for what? Why we chant three Shantis, one for Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik obstacles. Then the first mantra we saw significance of Guru Shishya Parampara, which started from Brahmaji and came to Angiras, and then Shaunakji asks the question to Angiras. So what is the importance of that? Flow of knowledge in its pristine clarity and purity. It is coming to us. And we have to just think how grateful we must be that thousands or lakhs of years, suppose we say Ramayana, lakhs of years in Treta Yuga, their Vedas are written, and in that Upanishad they are invoking Brahmaji and how it flew. So how much ancient this knowledge is. And we are getting in its own pristine clarity because no changes we can do in this. Then we come to Shaunakji's question in the third mantra. We saw that Shaunakji asks one question and he is called as Mahashala. Who is a Mahashala? Why? What is the significance of that? Who is Shaunakji is symbolically mentioned in that one word. Pious, religious, householder, successful, wealthy, contributor in the society, capable, intelligent, having values like surrender, faith, dedication, and determination. He is Shaunakji. So he is a Uttam Adhikari. Then one question comes that before we go to what is his question, which is a main important question of the entire Upanishad, because the entire Upanishad is the answer to this one question. What would be the source of the question of this Shaunakji? Because this qualities of this Shaunakji is important to note, because on this we are going to relate to Apara Vidya. Because all this thing he got from what? Apara Vidya. So that's the reason it is important to note that, see, there can be an atheist who can realize, but Vedas say that, in earlier days in Vedic period, all these rishis were householders. So people say, no, 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 householders cannot realize. But if you see the parampara, the sannyas parampara started much later. Shankaracharya, Govindapada, his guru. So what is appreciated here by the Vedas is that you follow the karma kanda, become pious, become ritualistic, become a noble person, intelligently live, be successful, wealthy, contribute to the society. And then but while you are doing this, then you experience what is happening, and then he's asking that question. So what could be the source of that question of Shaunakji? So this is what I am covering now. One disclaimer here for those people who are attending in person with Swamiji. Whatever I am going to say here, there would be some extra points from Shankar Bhashya. So suppose you have any questions, then you please discuss with me here only, because suppose you go tomorrow to Swamiji and say, Prasadji said this, he mentioned this karma and he didn't say, but you didn't mention. Swamiji will not answer that. He will say, he will scold me that why are you taking what I have not spoken. So some points I am going to take extra from Shankar Bhashya. So if you have any questions, then we can discuss here. And those who are coming to Swamiji's sessions, please listen carefully to what Swamiji mentions in what words, and if you have questions there, then we can ask him directly. So what are the probable causes of asking this? Shankar Bhashya mentions that there could be two. Adi Shankara mentions, this is Bhashya, that he would have studied this earlier, heard this earlier somewhere, this question. Because he is reading Vedas, he is reading Vedanga, so he is expert in that, so he is knowledgeable, he is intelligent. Also, with his own experience in life, he would have thought over as a common sense that yes, is there a cause to this universe? Because now, what is the question? What is that by knowing which everything becomes known? So, indirectly, what is asking? What is the cause of this universe? Once I know the cause, I know the effect. I have to write down this because this is a main question. Because the entire Upanishad is the answer. If I do not understand the question, then it becomes challenging that how the answer will be clear. So I have to 10 times think that what is that question, what is asking, and why is he asking that question? And then Angirasji answers. So today we are going to analyze that. So Vidya, can you read this? Answer
First,
to his question.
first three verses,
No, this one only.
fourth.
Okay, first three you can read so that we need not
Ha.
stop.
Okay. First to five I'll read. Or
Okay, done.
ॐ ब्रह्मादेवानां प्रथमः सम्बभूव विश्वस्य कर्ता भुवनस्य गोप्ता स ब्रह्मविद्यां सर्वविद्याप्रतिष्ठाम् अथर्वाय ज्येष्ठपुत्राय प्राह अथर्वणेयां प्रवदेत ब्रह्मा अथर्वातां पुरोवाचाङ्गिरे ब्रह्मविद्याम् स भारद्वाजाय सत्यवहाय प्राह भारद्वाजो अङ्गिरसे परावराम् शौनको ह वै महाशालः अङ्गिरसं विधिवत् उपसन्नः पप्रच्छ कस्मिन्नु भगवो विज्ञाते सर्वमिदं विज्ञातं भवतीति तस्मै स होवाच द्वे विद्ये वेदितव्ये इति हस्मयत् ब्रह्मविदो वदन्ति परा च एव अपरा च तस्मै स होवाच द्वे विद्ये वेदितव्ये इति हस्मयत् ब्रह्मविदो वदन्ति परा च एव अपरा च.
So to him he said, so Angirasji answered this way. He directly didn't answer the question. Now, why he didn't answer the question directly, there could be reasons. So what Angirasji mentioned, that dve vidye veditavye means there are two kinds of knowledges. Now what he has asked the question, that knowing what, I will know everything. So instead of directly telling him what is that one, he told, no, no, there are two kinds of knowledges. First of all, you must know. And who says this? I am not saying this from my mind. Yad Brahma Vido Vadanti. This is all what I am going to say. Great rishis who have realized, enlightened, who are knowers of Brahman, they tell us, which I've heard from them. And what are those two things? Dve vidye veditavye, para and apara knowledge. So para means higher and apara means, as Swamiji mentioned, we can say lower, but actually the meaning is not higher. And now I will tell you what is Paravidya and what is Aparavidya. So the Shaunakji would be thinking that, okay, first of all, you directly tell me what is Paravidya, but here it is not like that. He says, no, no, I will tell you Aparavidya first and then Paravidya. So, next verse. So, what is Aparavidya and then what is Paravidya is mentioned here.
तत्र परा ऋग्वेदो यजुर्वेदः सामवेदो अथर्ववेदः शिक्षा कल्पो व्याकरणम् निरुक्तं छन्दो ज्योतिषमिति अथ परा यया तदक्षरम् अधिगम्यते तत्र परा ऋग्वेदो यजुर्वेदः सामवेदो अथर्ववेदः शिक्षा कल्पो व्याकरणम् निरुक्तं छन्दो ज्योतिषमिति अथ परा यया तदक्षरम् अधिगम्यते.
Very nice. So of these two, the lower knowledge is, the apara vidya is tatra para, apara. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Athur Veda. Four Vedas are lower knowledge. Shiksha, Kalpa, Chanda, Vyakaran, Nirukta, Jyotisha. Six Vedangas, six limbs is also apara vidya. And then what is Paravidya? Just mentioned here. The higher knowledge is that by which the imperishable Brahman is attained. Athapara yaya. That is Paravidya. What? Tad aksharam adhigamyate. So we will analyze now what this mantra means. This is a literal transliteration. So now the analysis of this mantra. So what is Paravidya? This is the most important one. Paravidya is knowledge. Vidya means knowledge. Knowledge of one truth. And what is that one truth? Akshara, that is imperishable. So here in this Upanishad, it is called as imperishable. Akshara. Knowledge of imperishable, knowledge of unchangeable, and very importantly, Swamiji mentioned knowledge of independent existence, knowledge of permanent factor. What is independent existence? That which exists without any dependency. That is called as the truth. The truth is that which exists in all periods of time. It is unchanging, it is imperishable, it is the permanent factor, and it is independent of anything. Once I have the knowledge of that, then I will know everything. So this is a definition of Paravidya. So Paravidya is the sadhya, goal, knowledge of reality for permanent unbroken happiness. This is the goal of life, purpose of life. So many people ask, what is the purpose of my life? Why am I born? The goal, purpose of life is to have the knowledge of the imperishable. Why? Because once I know it, I will know everything. And here knowing means attaining, that we will see in the next analysis. What are the examples? Once I know H2O, I know the waves, I know the froth, I know everything. Once I know gold, I know all ornaments. Once I know clay, I know all pots. So once I know the cause, this is an important aspect. Those who are writing must note down. What Shaunakji is asking is the cause of the entire universe. Because once I know the cause, I know the effects. We will see with examples how it is important. And what is Aparavidya? Knowledge of many. So we saw knowledge, many things were given. Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Samaved, Atharva Ved, and then Vedangas. So knowledge of many, and here knowledge of one. Here knowledge of truth. Aparavidya is knowledge of false, illusory. There the knowledge of the imperishable. Here the knowledge of perishable. Here the knowledge of unchangeable, Paravidya. Here the knowledge of changeable. And dependent existence, it depends upon the substratum and impermanent factors. That is the Aparavidya. Examples here, because we have taken H2O, and so here it becomes sadhya, it is become sadhana. That's the reason Swamiji mentioned that lower you can say literally, but it is not superior and inferior. It is the means. And what is Aparavidya? Knowledge of all facets of life. What are the all facets of life? What are required? How to be noble, how to become wealthy, how to become successful, how to be a positive society contributor, how to gain punya for this life and for further life. This is goals in life, as Guruji mentioned. So very important. There are two goals, goal of life and goals in life. Goal of life is one, and goals are many. Studies, go to school, college, earn, marriage, children, house, foreign travel, car, bungalow, grandchildren, their education. These are goals in life. Fame, power, money. So Aparavidya is for that, and that's the reason in Vedas both are coming. Aparavidya, Paravidya. So Aparavidya is the means. This is an important thing. Aparavidya is the effect. And Paravidya is the cause and Paravidya is the goal. This is the important difference. What are the examples? We took H2O, here waves. So I know all waves, all bubbles, all froth. Once I know the H2O, I know the entire ocean. Once I know the gold, I know all ornaments. Once I know the clay, I know all pots. So we know that one person, was having some financial difficulty. Then he started selling gold. So first he went and gave his necklace. The goldsmith gave some money. Then he had one Ganeshji Murti. When he went to sell that, he said, no, no, this is costing less. I will give you less money. No, no, but this is Ganeshji. But no, in that weight, it is less. So the goldsmith is not seeing the name and form. The goldsmith is saying this is 100 gram, that was 120 grams. So names and forms. So this is the effect. Once I know the cause, the effects are known. A small story, what we know is mentioned here just to, make it little clearer, because this is the most important point of the Upanishad. That we all know, one day Parvati ji and Shivji were sitting in the evening. Two sons were playing, Kartik and Ganesh ji. And then suddenly they heard some commotion. They were fighting for one mango. In some books it is one mango, something else is there. And then Parvati ji came, why are you fighting? No, no, I want. Children. So Parvati ji gives one, takes the mango and says, okay, I am giving a bet to you. One who goes this universe 3 times, that boy will get the mango. So Kartik ji is a warrior, god of warrior. He is a warrior and he has the Vahan peacock. And Ganesh ji he is very fit also. And Ganesh ji, we all know, is little, having a big tummy, and his vehicle is mouse. So Kartik ji was very excited. He immediately heard it and sat on the peacock and went. And Ganesh ji was sitting there only. Then Parvati said, you are not going? No, no, I am thinking of going. Then after some time he did one idea. He said, you both sit there. And then he went 3 rounds and then came and sat there. And then after some time Kartik came and he told, I want the mango. He told, Ganesh ji has already come. And then how come? He told, Ganesh ji has won. Parvati told Ganesh ji, because Ganesh ji told, you are the source and creator of the universe. I have got 3 rounds around you, so I have won. So once I know the cause, once I know the source, the effects are not so important. So this I have to remember, that this point I have to remember, because further we are going to see a detailed analysis of creation process and why it has been taken to emphasize on us that the cause is one, effects are many. What are the practices? Swamiji mentioned, prepare yourself by Apara Vidya. Apara Vidya is lower, but I have to prepare myself. Do not get attached to the Apara Vidya. I have to drop it like a pole vault by remembering the goal of life. So the pole vault, now I have to make a important point. The pole vault is important. I have to use it. I have to master the pole vault. But when I use the pole vault at a particular point of time, I have to let go the pole vault and then go on the other side, transcend it. Why? We also are going to discuss that question what Swamiji put. If Vedas are, you are putting Vedas in Apara knowledge. Mundakopanishad also is coming in Vedas. So it is Apara knowledge or Para knowledge. So we can only understand that by understanding that pole vault. So we will answer that question once we go to that analysis. So please give details of Apara Vidya. What are the details of Apara Vidya? 4 Vedas, Rig Ved. Those Vedas are one. But Vedvyas he classified them. How he classified? Rig Veda chanted. Those all mantras which can be chanted are into Rig Veda. Ayurveda is part of Rig Veda. Samaveda, all mantras which are sung, fine arts are there, all fine arts are there in Samaveda. Yajurveda, prose mantras which are read, all the defense systems and how to have a warfare and all is there in Yajurveda. Atharva Veda, important mantras of three, and financial management, all this administration are there in Atharva Veda. So these are the classification. What are the six Vedangas limbs? Siksha, Yajnavalkya is the propagator. Phonetics, pronunciation, science of word and sound. That's the reason when mantras are to be pronounced, they are to be pronounced in a particular way. If they are not pronounced in a particular way, we will not get the result of it. Kalpa. So once we have the mantra, then there are rituals and do's and don'ts. Katyayanji is the propagator of Kalpa. So I think we all do puja at home, when some priest will come and the priest will chant some mantra, Gayatri mantra, Om Bhurva Swadat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayata, and then he will say, okay, have pranayam, do pranayam, put 3 times water in the plate. So the instructions what the priest is giving, that is the ritual part. And you will find in all pujas, there will be some mantra chanting, and in between some instructions are given to us. Okay, now put tika, put, pour the water, now drink the water, do pranayam, etc., etc. So these are rituals, do's and don'ts. Chandas, Pinglaji is the propagator. These are meters, Anushtupa, Gayatri, Brihati, there are meters in this, different meters. Vyakarana, Panini is the propagator. Grammar, word, rules, how the rules happen, how to make a sentence and where we must do the vibhakti, etc. All those rules are there. Nirukta, Yakshaji, etymology, source of the words. So each word will have a root. Like as we know, Brahman, the root is Brihat. So Brihatvad, that means the biggest. That is Brahman. Jyotish Shastra, Surya ji is the propagator. In that there are two, astronomy which is a cosmic and astrology which is for individual. And both are connected. So they say that in July, 2nd week, 3rd week, 4th week, somewhere during that time, the planetary condition, which I have heard, is exactly going to be the same like it was there in Kurukshetra war. So there are predictions that in July there will be some kind of war somewhere in a bigger way would happen. It's a prediction on astronomy. But for that, the person who is going to predict has to be scholarly. Now question. As Vedas are Apara Vidya, Mundakopanishad knowledge is Apara or Para Vidya? So the answer what Swamiji gave is very interesting, very important. Depends upon what is the purpose of study. If my purpose is self-realization, Atma Sakshatkar, this knowledge become direct means then it is Paravidya, that realization. But if my goal is to just read, study, earn name, fame, power, or just show off to people that I have read all the Upanishads, see, I am a great person, spiritual person, then it will come to Aparavidya. Because the words are Apara, but the words are pointing towards that. That is Paravidya. So we must not get engrossed into the words because the words are only pointer, not the pointed. As Gurudev used to say, I am only the pointer, not the pointed. Question, why 4 Vedas and 6 Vedangas is Apara knowledge? Answer, it does not remove self-ignorance. Knowledge of chemistry, geography, knowledge of Jyotish Shastra, knowledge of finance, knowledge of any other subject does not remove self-ignorance. What it will remove? It will remove poverty, it will remove failure, it will give me access to wealth, it will give me access to comfort, it will give me access to security, etc., which are required in the day-to-day life and transactional life. But self-ignorance, it will not remove. Second, Answer, by knowing one branch of apara, one does not know other branches and everything. So what is the question? What is that? Because Shaunakji has learnt many things. So just because I know chemistry, I will know physics. Not necessary. Just because I know physics, I will know cooking. Just because I know cooking, I will know music. No, it is not like that. I will know only one subject, and then one subject more and more I know. I know how much less I know. Like Bhimsen Joshi told at the end of his career, I know only music to that extent of a drop of a ocean. Adi Shankaracharya also mentioned once when his Shishya asked that so much knowledge you have. He was walking on a beach or some water body. You had that danda. He put that danda in the water, took out, and then one drop fell down. That much knowledge I have. So how much, if Adi Shankaracharya says that he has one drop of knowledge, how much knowledge we have? So by knowing one, I will not know other. So then what is Shaunakji asking now? That is there some knowledge where if I know one, I will know everything. Now we have to pay attention. Atha para yaya tad aksharam adhigamyati. So this is paravidya. What is paravidya definition now? Higher knowledge is that by which akshara, tad aksharam adhigamyati, imperishable, is known. Adhigamyate means that which helps to attain that akshara tattva is paravidya. Here attainment is equal to knowing is equal to being is equal to realization. That is a very important point to note down. Here in this paravidya, knowing is being, knowing is realization. In Taittiriya Upanishad we have learned, Om Brahmavid apnoti param, the knower of Brahman attains supreme. In Ishavasya Upanishad, we have seen Ishavasyam idagam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. The Isha is pervading all. So that point we have to now remember and see how it can correct here. So once I know this, that, I will know this. It is attained by knowledge. And knowledge does what? It removes ignorance. Ignorance of what? The self. Here, karma not needed, no time gap, domain of knowing, whereas apara vidya, it is domain of karma. This I have to note down. Swamiji has not covered. So now we have to think on this because Adi Shankaracharya has given a big commentary on this. Apara vidya is a domain of karma. Once I know, then I have to do some karma. There will be time and then there will be result. Whereas in para vidya, there is no karma, there is no time gap. Knowing is being. What is the example? We know it that like if there are specks, our specks, sometimes there is a threat to the speck, and that specks, one person was that specks went behind and they were hanging behind, and this person was searching for specks. His relative came and told, what are you doing? I am searching for the specks. And he told, what are you saying? It is behind you. And then he touched it, it was behind only. So he had not lost anything, neither he gained anything. He was always having the specks, only thing he had forgotten it. So very important point, Paravidya is a domain of knowledge. Aparavidya is a domain of knowledge plus karma. Why higher? Why this Paravidya is called higher? Athapara. Because it is Atindriya Vishaya. Atindriya means it is beyond senses, mind and intellect. Means this Akshara Tattva, we cannot feel it, taste it, touch it, smell it, because that is a illuminating factor. We cannot even think it. How? Why? How can you say it is going to come in the next verse only? Or Grahyam it is going to say. The sixth verse is going to define Akshara Tattva. It is beyond time, space, object, because whatever is bound by time, space and object will be finite. Will be limited. So it is unlimited, infinite. It is imperishable. So it is para. The example we have already taken about necklace or specs which are there in my neck only, but I have forgotten. By knowing one, I will know everything means what? This I have to pay attention. By knowing that one, I will know Sanskrit, Japanese, rocket science. No, no. People think that once I'm enlightened, suddenly I will know automobile engineering, how to repair car. Suddenly, suppose I am enlightened, then I go to Japanese and then I go to Japan. I know Japanese also. I can know because it's very easy for a yogi to know, but that's not what has been mentioned. Like Guruji says that even if there are two people who get enlightened, one is from South India, one is from North India. After enlightenment, South Indian Swami will definitely would go for sambar bath, filter coffee and tail sadam, and a Punjabi Swami will eat parotha, and not that they can eat, but their preferences will be that. So not that I will know everything means what? That everything means what? That I have to pay attention. This is where the concept clarity must be there. By knowing that one screen, one rope, Biraj, everything of movie, snake, water is known as appearance. So I have to pay attention now. Once I know what is the screen, I know what is a movie. Movie is only light and sound show on the screen. It is only an appearance. Once I know the rope, I know there was no snake only. Once I know the mirage, who is interested in seeing the water and fishes? So that is what is being mentioned here is that once I know that imperishable, everything appears the same as Akshara. This I have to note down 3 times, we'll repeat. The realized person, once who knows this, then for everything becomes Akshara, everything becomes consciousness. The self in me, self in all. And that's the reason we mentioned earlier, Ishavasam Idagam Sarvam. There are no two things. Initially, there are two things what are mentioned. Anatma, Atma. But once I realize everything is Atma only. There is nothing other than Brahman. There is nothing other than Akshara Tattva. The inert and the sentient. Initially, the distinction is given. But once the clarity is there, once the realization is there, there is nothing as inert. Everything is conscious only. Please define Paravidya, Akshara Tattva, Brahman. And Guruji says, whenever we are going to see the sixth mantra, it is going to define me. This Akshara Tattva, Brahman is me. Oh, they are going to talk about me. Yes, yes, they are going to talk about me. And how they are going to define Upanishadic rishis? 14 Lakshanas are given, 1, 4. About whom? About myself. So it wouldn't be interesting. That is the reason Upanishad, when we study, I must be so excited because they are going to talk about me. Who am I? I do not know. No, 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 but I am one bichara, small person living in Ghatkopar, Chembur. What can I? They think, no, 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 you are that. So we will see the lakshanas, attributes of that Akshara Tattva, because here the Rishi has now defined the Aparavidya. Now he is going to take what is Paravidya and what is that imperishable Akshara Tattva. What are the different attributes? In that one will come Agrahyam. And you will see most of the time when we define this, it will be not that, not that, not that. It will be in the negative definitions. So here we complete. If any questions are there, we'll take up. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.